Welcome. Another episode of the Steelers Chat Live. And we are a week removed from everything that transpired last week. And I have been getting hit up left and right about one particular thing. And I'll talk about that in a second. But congratulations to the Pittsburgh Steelers. They checked off some boxes last week. Not all the boxes that I'm necessarily looking for. We got to work on those points. But look, they got over 400 yards in the game. They won the game, won in Cincinnati, a divisional game. So I can't be like, I'm happy. And one of the things that I am over, but people keep asking me about it, I haven't really commented a whole lot online, is Deontay Johnson. People want me to talk about Deontay Johnson, and here it is. I do not care. Listen, people came out with a story about him getting into it with a teammate, whatever, after being having some feelings on the sideline, whatever. I don't care. I do not care. Win the game. Everyone is talking about the play that happened where Lord Jalen fumbled, and obviously he didn't make a play on the ball. And then the play prior was the touchdown, which to me was a touchdown, which by rule is a touchdown, which in that moment was called not a touchdown. It's frustrating, and I put myself in that person's shoes in that moment. I'm frustrated. Like that's a touchdown. Whether it's a touchdown and I messed up because I didn't hold on to the ball at the end of the play, it's a touchdown. And I feel like maybe my coach should have challenged that because I definitely had 3 steps in the end zone. And then the ball's not coming my way the next play. I'm a little butthurt. It is like I'm a sore winner. I can be a sore loser. And I could see myself feeling some type of way after a play like that. Is it wrong? Yes. Is he human? Yes. Am I gonna talk about this man like he's not a human being? No, like that is insane. That is crazy to me. And I don't understand why the fans of Steeler Nation have to figure out a way to villainize somebody, have to have a villain every single week. Why do you got to be mad at somebody? Why does somebody have to be traded? Why do you have to devalue someone every single week? I don't understand that. I don't get it. And yeah. And so for me, Deontay Johnson is cool in my book. He don't need to go nowhere. I wouldn't wish him to go anywhere. I think he's a phenomenal route running. He's a great asset. And when you lose him, you lose a dimension of your offense. And I'll leave that there. I'm gonna leave it there. So I love Deontay Johnson. I'm not gonna sit there and let no type of media or bandwagon moment deflect me from the fact that I think he's a great wide receiver and an asset to him. So anyway, we have some people. What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? What up, Shaggy? What's up, Tevin? What's up, everybody? Jeremy, how y'all doing? So we got some people waiting to come in. So we'll go ahead and get the guests in. Make sure your cameras and your mics is on, okay? And we'll get started with the show here. What's up, Dave? How you doing?
Hey, doing all right. Hoping to see you on Sunday.
Yeah, the plan is to be there. Like, mind you, I have been under the weather all week, so I may sound a little congested here, but look, the plan is to be there on Sunday.
Beautiful. I'm going to be there for the week, so I'll be there for Thursday
Or
too.
Thursday too. What's up? What's up, J Rock? How are you? Your mic's not on, by the way. You're on mute.
What's going on? Let's try that again. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Hey,
Got you
thank you. How
loud
y'all
and clear.
doing?
Good. This is Dave J Rock. Like I said, I will be there Sunday. The plan is to be there Sunday and Thursday. I'm not doing the stay the whole week thing like a lot of people are. It just makes sense. And luckily we didn't get that game flexed, so we're all good there. We did find out that we are playing back-to-back Saturday games. We have that Colts game and that Bengals games on Saturdays at 4:30. So that'll be interesting weeks because we'll have Sundays off. So I'm excited. Looking down. So first things first, we got to talk about last week. How did you guys feel overall about last week's game?
Want to go first, David? You can go ahead.
Sure. Well, I mean, number one, as you said in your opening, D, the most important thing, they won the game.
Mm-hmm.
So some of the good things, 400 yardage. I had
Mm-hmm.
some skepticism about the splitting the offensive coordinator duties. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. I don't think that that's done that often, where you have the offensive coordinator splitting off his play calling duties to somebody else. But I thought that it worked well.
Yeah.
And for me, one of the big revelations in that game that's come up is that um, what they did, what Eddie Faulkner did, is he brought the whole offense together,
Oh yeah.
and then they broke out into the position groups.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, well, weren't they doing that all season? And if they were just meeting in their position groups, no wonder they looked uncoordinated. You got
Mm-hmm.
to bring everybody together to go over the plan and then break into your smaller groups. The bad, agree with you 100% that they didn't score enough points.
Yeah.
And that came down to some execution. If they had executed better, you can't fumble in the red zone, the play in
Mm-hmm.
the end zone and all that. That may have put a different complexion on the game. And then one thing that was worrisome was the special teams. And primarily you had two penalties that pushed us back, that caused a lot of field position. And and then they for whatever reasons they had Boswell squib kicking, and then they had that long return, which
Yeah.
that put Cincinnati right back into it because they scored off of that. So
Yeah.
I always look at it, number one, did they win? And so that's
Mm-hmm.
great. But then I also kind of look at the good and the not so good.
Yeah. I
Oh, yeah.
go ahead. Okay.
Yeah, I completely agree. Coming into it, I think that obviously it was a automatic improvement when we came to the passing. We got the passes over the middle of the fire move. We've been missing that all season since due to his injury. We've been missing that all season due to what Jalen Warren deemed as Matt Canada not taking enough risks. And obviously no risk, no reward. So with that being said, those elements were missing. Um, I want to say I've seen some improvement in the defense, but defense has kind of been saved by turnovers, for lack of better terms, this season. Giving up a lot of plays, giving up a lot of yardage. I think what I did see as far as what was improvement was Patrick Peterson making a few plays. In addition to the plays
Moving
that he made in
around.
in addition to the plays that he made in Green Bay, he actually made a couple good defensive plays. Tristan Thompson made up for the interception that he dropped in Green Bay.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, those are kind of like the pluses. Of course, the last couple of weeks, like David said, the special teams has kind of been slacking a little bit. Not Boswell in particular, because Boswell is Boswell. But with that being said, I definitely had to tip my cap off to the production and the offense. Of course, I would like to see more points. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, with production, you want to see points. But a win is a win. So, sometimes you can't really fault that. I mean, because realistically, they have been looking the same. Well, the points have been the same, excuse me, but this time now it's been more of an offensive production. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like you can't really get mad that they haven't been scoring that many points because they've been scoring similar points all season. But now the stats are finally kind of matching up to what they should be producing, if not
You
more.
see a pathway for more points, right?
Absolutely.
So you definitely see a pathway there. And, one of the things you have to look at is how much rest the defense got. Like, congratulations to the defense for being able to rest. I know they probably were taking back, like, we didn't get a 3 and out. Like, that is mind blowing to me all by itself. We did not have a 3 and out. The what was it? 33 rushing snap 33 33 rushing plays and 33 passing plays.
Balanced
So
attack. Balanced attack.
so
Absolutely.
that is completely 50-50. The close, like, that is 50-50. I mean, it's totally different. And the one thing I saw, and I wasn't there, but the one thing I saw in the little bit of clips I did see of the sideline, it was communication. And I said it, I've been saying it for a while. And that's what I look for. Even when the offense is not on the field, I look for the communication. And it was segmented and it wasn't there. And I don't know what it totally looked like last week. And I can't wait to see what it looks like on Sunday. But it was not what it felt like, even from being at home. It felt like these guys were really talking to each other. Um, Even watching the offensive coordinators, from the play caller to the coordinator, just be amongst the group and
Active.
really making eye contact with them, and them talking for the small couple seconds they showed it on television. It was an improvement. That on top of the energy, like you could just tell that there was a different type of energy with that team. I had a hunch that Pat Fryermuth could be more involved, but again, it's because you just didn't know what to expect. You didn't think it was going to be too different, but it could be different. I had a hunch that you would see more passing to the tight end, but I didn't know it was going to be as significant. So congratulations to him. I came into the season thinking that Pat Fryermuth, the only way he was going to get an extension, anything like what was it, Hawkinson, whatever his name is he
Type
had to
numbers.
ball out, and he's been hurt, and he hasn't had an opportunity, but he made a good case on Sunday to get some money in the future. So that's
Well,
great. That's great for him.
Absolutely. And D, can
the
I can
go
my
ahead.
bad.
Go ahead.
My apologies. I wanted to add D to another
Mhm.
thing that I was impressed with was third down conversions. Pittsburgh did very good on converting on the third down, and I was really shocked by, I mean, and you shouldn't be, but I
Mhm.
mean, it really reminded you of the early 2000 Pittsburgh Steelers, who were like take it on third and short and know that they were going to get the yardage and actually run the ball, and because they were that confident, they were that experienced enough to know that in those situations they could actually get the yardage versus maybe doing a jet sweep on third and
Yeah.
six, kind of, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
Yeah.
that was another thing I just wanted to add.
Yeah.
Yes.
The thing I would add is the very first play of the game.
Yeah.
Three big statements
Yes.
that they had not been doing much of. Play
Mhm.
action pass down the middle of the field to a
Mhm.
tight end.
Mhm.
Yep.
And what does that say on the very first play? Was Cincinnati expecting any of that?
No.
And I think that
No.
that kind of puts them back on their heels of like, oh, this
Mhm.
this is not
What's
what we've been watching the last few weeks.
exactly.
So I like the schematics. I liked it.
It was just so equally yoked. And I'm gonna talk about the defense here in a little bit, but I gotta go back to which I said this in the beginning, like back in August. I don't know, it might be a tweet out there saying that this is like the best running back room duo in the NFL, and I still believe it. I know numbers may not say that or whatever, I don't even know what the numbers are, but I truly believe the Pittsburgh Steelers have top tier talent in the running back room. These Najee and Jalen are a 1-2 punch. Like they just are. And I had a prediction. Like, look, Jalen might not go off this week, but best believe Najee has the potential to go ahead and get it done. And
I
he did.
agree.
And he had that 20-yard run where like he just
Yeah, he
disappeared
just
and just
Up
reemerges.
the
crazy.
middle, right up the middle.
Yeah, it
Like
was crazy.
what?
And it was another one he broke for on the sideline. Um,
Yes.
yeah,
And that right there, that just it just that was just a different energy. And I don't know why. I don't know how people just give him a hard way to go and say the things that they say. And he has a game like that, and I hope it shuts every single person up. Everybody is not going to be amazing every single game. Like it just don't work that way. Like perfection does not exist. It is a word. It is imaginary, and you strive for something that really is impossible.
Well,
But
I think a lot of people were thinking, well, just replace Najee with Jalen Warren. They made it an either or. And it's like,
no,
why? It's a 1-2 punch. It's a
yes,
1-2 punch. I'd rather have that than substitute somebody. And I think it works. And Najee showed what he can do when he's not dodging tackles in the backfield.
Hmm.
The run blocking was a bit better than it's been. And I don't know if that was scheme or what that was, but
I love
he was
giving
yeah.
him that. He's a 200 and what? I don't know. I'm gonna say 50. I'm not trying to be rude. I just don't know. 250-pound dude, a head start and running into these guys. You might make some shake. So I mean, he's not a light guy at all. So I definitely wouldn't want to get hit by moving Najee Harris. Like I just coming at you full speed. So some of the ways they had set up the plays for him to gain that momentum to make the play and to get the blocks, whether it's amazing. I think him and Mason Cole definitely have some good chemistry
Right.
there.
I, I
Um,
I was going to say that. I'm sorry to cut you off. I
yeah,
mean, I
no.
didn't. But I meant to, add to that when it came to the success of Najee Harris this week. You definitely seeing a lot more traps. You've been
Mhm,
since the trap blocking is what I'm referring to, and a lot more zone blocks to where as though they were able to kind of it. If you watch Najee run, he just like Jalen Warren, he does better with a one cut run up when he tries to run east and west, and he has the capability to make people miss, but when it comes to gang tackling, it's 5 and 6 people over there in the same area. It's not easy to get away from. And even when you hit a certain hole, it's A gap, B gap, C gap is what I've been taught, from playing. But when you don't hit the hole correctly at a certain time, that hole closes up very fast. So I think that's what Jalen Warren takes advantage of when he goes and it has the successful games that he has. He's able to get in that hole quickly and get out of there. And people don't really expect it, but I think the thing with Najee is he may not have the quickness, but he has to be able to hit that hole and use his physicality once he's get ready to come out of that hole, because he doesn't have the acceleration to zoom out of there, maybe like a Jalen Warren does. But I definitely seen the physicality last week, which is what he definitely needs to use more of. I think what was that year, 2021?
mm,
But he was just making people look really bad. But I mean, it was the stiff arms, it was running people over.
mhm.
It was the physicality that he brought with the 240 or 50 pounds, whatever he weighs, coming through that hole that made people kind of like, oh man, well, let me not, let me make a business decision at this point, because that's really what it was.
Yeah, you have anything to add, Dave?
No, I agree with everything he said, and I know that Jalen Warren, maybe didn't have the game. I think he had like 48 yards, and what they did is they split their carries. So I think Najee had like 15 carries to 13 carries for Jalen, but I still think that that's good because it's a change up. And like
Mhm,
I have like a rugby background. I used to coach rugby, and what they teach the runners there, even the big guys, is you run to the daylight, you run to the gap between the tacklers.
mhm,
Because once you get those guys to, if they can keep their hips square to you, well, even Najee Harris is going to have a tough time.
Right.
But if you get them to move their hips a little bit, because you're going into the gap and they're
They all
having to
center.
adjust to tackle you, well, now he has the strength to burst those tackles, and that's what I really like to see. So I'd like to see him get a few more passes where he has some room to run out there too.
yeah, I thought there was gonna be some more screenplay. I think they tried it. I don't think the screens really worked that well this week.
Nah,
We'll see. We'll see.
nah.
We'll see in the future.
Now,
We'll see
now,
how.
now, you screen with Calvin Austin. I think there's definitely potential with that. But I mean, if you pull in a running back out there, like some of the predictability was still there.
Yeah.
Last game. So I mean, a lot of times if you're predictable as far as like what you're gonna do, what you're gonna call running, whether it be passing, whether it be a short and 3rd and 3, so you gotta either hit the slant, hit the out, or hit the in the flat. You know what I'm saying? Those are kind of predictable plays. With though, it doesn't matter who you put out there. They know that that's what you're gonna run. So some of that is predictability, and some of it is personnel.
Yeah, and the other thing to remember, they only had a couple days, because the announcement came out Tuesday morning.
Tuesday. Hmm.
You had Thanksgiving Thursday, so they
Hmm.
practiced Thursday, but it probably wasn't a full practice.
Yeah.
So this was really a short week for them. So it's going to be interesting what changes between now and Sunday.
Yeah, look, the communication is key, and I know it's been the theme, but it. Like, when I tell you, when I saw Matt, and you guys know I was riding with Matt Canada because that's just what it was. Like, I didn't see this happening. Um, that's what was missing. It was just communication. We're not really talking. We're talking like at each other, but not. We're talking to the media. We kind of like, even on the bench, are not really talking to each other, and I really just thought that was weird to me. And I thought I wanted Kenny to talk more. I'm like, Kenny should be talking to everybody. Like, this is his team. Like, why? And I did see a kind of a clip from Ben Roethlisberger, and it's really hard for me to watch football, and it's really hard. But I listened into football, and he was, kind of just talking about how him and the coordinators were close at one point, and it looks like like it appeared that Sully was the middle person in between Canada. Like, it just feels like nobody really had the communication line to Canada like you would think. And I don't know. I thought I don't know. I ain't gonna sit here. I don't.
Well,
He's not there anymore. I don't know.
I think this goes back to the whole thing of where they weren't meeting as an offensive group, and so it
Right. There was
almost
no type
sounds
of
like
communication.
what, and I'm speculating here, but
Yeah.
what Canada was doing was drawing up his game plan almost in isolation, maybe getting a little bit of feedback, but then he's telling his position coaches, okay, this is what I want you to convey to each of your groups. And so the wide receivers are hearing, the message.
He had a hands-off approach.
The line is hearing the message, but they're all hearing it separately. So that then when they have a question, well, then everybody else isn't hearing that question. Whereas if you're in there as the big group, then what happens is somebody has a question. Well, now the whole team is hearing, here's what the question is, and then here's what our goal is on this play. It's like
Yeah.
Alex was on here last week with you,
Mm-hmm.
and he kind of did a breakdown of the motions, and
Right.
he had keyed in on one play where it was Robinson, I think, that was kind of like going back and forth. This is a couple weeks ago, and he's like, "Well, what is he accomplishing by doing that?" It's like he's not doing anything, and the defense was just like basically sitting there,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
just waiting.
Waiting. Yeah.
And now, when you see the motions, well, now you can kind of see, well, hey, the Bengals defense was having to react to that, and so it sounds like they've given them a purpose because now, because of this communications, now people understand this is what we're trying to accomplish with this
Mm-hmm.
particular play. The last thing I'd like to say on this, though, is that I don't think, a lot of people were saying, well, people didn't like Canada or there was personality conflicts, and it doesn't sound like that at all. And like a lot of the players, and
Yeah.
definitely, absolutely Eddie Faulkner, they're personal friends. And they coached together before, as did Frisman Jackson. They both worked for Matt Canada at two different schools.
Yeah. I was like somewhere
And,
in North, I feel like, but I forget the name of the school.
yeah, but
But I
even the players were saying, they were kind of trying to support him,
I
but
think it's just
it was
approach.
just this communication style
Yeah.
just did
Yeah, I
not
think it's
work.
just the approach. I think it was
But
just so hands off that it was to the detriment of the team.
right.
I really just think it probably boiled down to that, and not having that come together moment. Let's really dig into this as a group. Everybody's got, they're probably talking amongst each other, but they ain't coming together and having that, that powwow that they needed to. So, but look, these guys, they got it now. They got some leaders in that locker room. And I saw Kenny Pickett, and I said this with Alex last week, and he's like, Kenny is a leader. Like, Kenny is in a leadership role. Yes. But I felt like that was the most leader like. There was maybe one other game, and I can't remember, where I felt like, okay, Kenny's being a leader now. Like, okay, but that was the game where I was like, okay, this is his team. He's leading it. I felt 100% he was the leader.
Yeah,
There was another game where I was like, okay, I think Kenny gets it. He's showing me he's the leader, not just wearing the leadership hat because you're the quarterback. So and as long as that continues, to me, I think this team will be in a good space. Every people are getting touches, the ball's getting moved around. You had Deontay Johnson get catches, you had George Pickens, you had Allen Robinson, you had Darnell Washington, who I love seeing with the ball in his hands. And the running backs. I'm sure I'm forgetting somebody. Calvin Austin had a catch, right? Too. I
yeah,
believe he
he
had a
did.
catch. So
He
like
did. He
the
had
ball
actually
was
had a third down conversion.
yeah, the ball was spread around.
Uh-huh.
Um, I mean, you can't be mad at that. I do want to talk about the defense here. Elandon Roberts, that's who I want to talk about. He was the guy in the beginning, and like, here's a guy. I sound like Chris Collinsworth. In the beginning of the season, I was worried. I was watching in the stands, and I was just like, this guy's got to get more snaps. Like, I want to see him out there more. I mean, we were inside linebacker heavy, and like they were just switching him out, and I was just like, man, I feel like Roberts is just not getting his shine. And it's a good thing to be able to switch guys out and have him fresh legs, but I just felt like he couldn't get going. And give us and show us what he was really, really good at because he wasn't on the field enough. And now he's the guy wearing the green dot, and good luck running on us when he's out there, doing his thing, because he's really, really good at stopping the run. So, like I don't know how you guys feel about Landon, and him being the guy now in that inside linebacker group, calling the shots, letting people know what's going on the field, being the voice.
Right.
And what's the percentage now? 14. Let me get the stat.
24.
I don't want to.
I think it's
You know,
14.4.
14.4.
Mhm.
Man, what?
But while you're looking for those stats, I definitely
Yeah.
love seeing his production out there. It seems like he's stepping into the role more and more. And it's almost relative to what I seen out of Broderick Jones when they put him into the starting lineup. It's okay, now it's time for me to step up. He's
Mm-hmm.
taking that role, that leadership role, and I think it was murky in the beginning, and because Tomlin, well, to my knowledge, Tomlin was trying to get a rotation between him and Quan. He wanted to always start Holcomb, but him and Quan Alexander was going to get the rotating piece as far as
Mm-hmm.
like who was going to be a starter. So I mean, it's like I say, I kind of know it from that player side and understand a little bit from a perspective of that's confidence. That say, all right, cool, well, I'm the guy. Let me go out there and prove myself. And he's definitely been showing up. He's definitely been making tackles. He's that you can see him, like I said, being the green dot and leading and communicating with people out there on the field. You
Mm-hmm.
can definitely see him, pretty much stick his nose in the fire a lot of times when it comes to getting downhill or making that tackle on the flat or in the middle of the field. So it's good to see him produce like he is,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm glad that he's stepping up now. I know he's probably tired because I mean he's getting pretty much all the snaps.
Yeah.
Whereas though I thought they may have switched out, I thought they would have gave Mark Robinson a few snaps. I don't think he's gotten snaps in probably like 2 weeks. But and I actually like Mark Robinson.
Yeah, I
Uh,
still feel like they're nurturing him some more.
but to me, he's shown it. To me, he's shown the ability to go out there
I
and
don't
even
know what
do.
it is. I don't know
Yeah, I
what it
mean,
is.
at least to make tackles, at least to hit and make and kind of like do what a lander. Maybe not call the plays and wear the green dot like a lander, but definitely be out there and be in
He
rotation.
can hit now.
And
He can
yeah,
hit.
yeah,
I
that's
don't
what we
know.
need though. That's what we need. We can a lot of times we in earlier games we were getting gashed in the run. And you need those people. We had a lot of people missing tackles. I think besides Landon and Minka, maybe the only person that we had solid that was making tackles was KZ. You
Yeah,
know,
Quan before Quan. I mean,
consistently.
Yeah, before Quan went out and Landon and Holcomb, like, yeah. But look,
Well, you know who kind of stepped in and I thought did a really good job is Michael Walker, and
hmm
because he
Okay.
came in as the other, and he almost had an interception, and he actually
Mhm.
tipped the one ball that Jamar Chase came out
Yeah,
of nowhere to
oh
get.
my gosh,
But
two
I mean,
that
hey,
was
I
sick.
mean,
I was about
insane.
to say because KZ tipped the other one.
Just
and
imagine
I
if you
think
didn't have those
what
two
this
tips.
demonstrates is the importance of depth. Too much. We focus on the starters, and you had this trifecta of veterans of Quan Alexander, uh, 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 uh,
Holcomb
Holcomb.
hmm
Okay, and now all of a sudden you lose two guys,
back to back
hmm
too.
right,
hmm
back to back weeks. But now you got this guy stepping up, and not only is he communicating, he had 15 and a half tackles last week, and
hmm
he led the team. He only had six, but that was they only had 41 defensive snaps,
hmm
which again, I mean, that's credit to the offense for keeping the playing keep away from Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Now, for Mark Robinson, he's a project. I don't think he's ready, and he's hurting his case, like that penalty that he
On
drew on
special teams,
special teams. He's got to clean that up because that could that could hurt him
there's
in the
something.
future. But I think
There-
Terrell Austin earlier in the year had kind of alluded to, well, he's a diamond in the rough. He might not be ready because he was just a
yeah.
running back. What 3 seasons ago in college? Because he converted
Yeah.
positions.
Right? Yeah. I did see him. Yeah, you're right.
Ole Miss, right? Yeah, I mean, like I look, I was a Mark Robinson advocate, and I do think there's something that we don't see, that that they see that they're still kind of building him up for, and I don't want to say grooming, I don't really like that word, but nurturing him to 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 for that spot when that time comes. And they've shown you that they like to take their time with guys. They don't put them fresh in the fire right away. And one guy, Liao, we haven't seen a lot of Liao.
Been seeing
Now I
Keanu
think the
Benton.
same. My fault. Go ahead, Dave.
No, I'm just saying we've been seeing Keanu Benton though.
Yeah, we've been
Yeah,
seeing men. We haven't seen a lot of Liao.
and
Um, I don't know what the deal is with that,
I've
but
been hearing I've been hearing with Liao has been the same thing. I mean, as far as like his size, he's big, he got good size, but as far as his development, he's just not there. And I mean, he's made plays in the past, like last year, and the year before. This is the third year, or is it the second? I think it's his third year.
I think
But in the past, he's made plays and made significant. Well, I mean, not down the line stretch plays, but I
yeah,
mean enough to where as though you like, oh, who's that? Who's 98? To
yeah.
put a name out there for him. But as far as his overall development, I've been hearing that he's not ready.
We'll see.
What they,
But
what, what they call big for nothing.
we'll see. The best news that we got this week is that Minka Fitzpatrick has been a full participant in practice, and
Uh,
that just it literally brought when I saw the footage from Nick Farabaugh on my timeline, my eye right here got a little teary eyed. I was like, "Look at 39." It's like Batman. Like, does he give you like Batman vibes? Like Batman is like about to be out here lurking and getting it done. I'm so excited. I mean, they've been doing their thing, but just to know that there's going to be another line of defense out there to help them with the tackling, whether it's the run, like whatever it is, he's going to be out there. It's like just having an extra seatbelt um, along for the ride, for the roller coaster ride. I'm excited. You know, it's been what 4 or 5. It seems like eternity.
it's been a long time.
Yeah,
I,
since
I,
Minka's been out there.
can I be honest? I've had a hamstring injury before, and I want to be honest and be selfish to say that I don't really think I want to see him out there yet. I mean, like we doing good, so it's not like we hurting. It's not like like
Uh,
now.
They
Granted, we
just don't
get
have the
down.
chemistry.
Yeah, and we got a good chemistry. I mean, the people are like the backups are stepping up to what they need to do. And I mean, it'd be something completely different if it was like the season is on the line. We playing Baltimore, the last game of the year. Okay, Minka, you got it. All right, come on, Minka.
Well,
Or like something like that. But I mean, the next couple of weeks, this week we coming up. We have Arizona. Arizona's 2-10, which is not and not to slouch because any given Sunday for any team.
right.
But you have Arizona coming up. You have the Patriots after that, which were on a short week. So I really would kind of prefer to see him after that, which I think the next game after that is Seattle.
The
Um,
Colts.
it's the
The
Colts.
Colts.
Okay, the Colts.
Yeah,
The Colts. Yeah,
in the
the Colts.
Indy.
You're right. But I mean, those significant. I would like to see him later on down the stretch to where though he knows for 100%, 150% he can run full speed. Because that video that I seen,
No, that was a test.
you can always kind of tell they short stepping. They don't stride like they used to. They don't, any player, even fire move. You can see him in the game not really striding like he did. He was making good plays and getting separation, but the stride wasn't there.
Here's
And
the thing about Minka.
say
Uh,
it again.
here's the thing about Minka, and I know you got something you want to add, Dave. This is a guy that wants to play every single snap on every single defensive snap. I don't think, even though I know he wants to, and I'm sure Minka probably wanted to be out there 2 weeks ago.
Right.
I don't think he's gonna be able to do that. I don't think they're gonna do that with him this time. And I think they probably will try to limit him on the snaps. We'll see if it happens. I hope that they do. I hope they kind of gradually bring him back into the photo thing. But he wants to be in there. He wants to help the team be better. And we'll see if they are. But I do want you to gradually start bringing him in the fold as this team goes down the stretch of things. The if the defense can continue to get breaks, I love it even better. If they can continue to be on the game for in less than 60 snaps a game, like they were averaging 60 snaps. Okay. And for me, the way that Minka Fitzpatrick runs sideways, to me, it was faster than he run forward sometimes. If he can do that and he can stay healthy enough to go from opposite side of the field to the other side and the speed that he does, that's what I need. That's what we need Minka Fitzpatrick to do to get to where the ball is and make the tackles. If he can come in there and play a little bit of time and gradually build himself up to what we know he was prior, I'm good. I'm cool with it. But go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, no. What I was going to say, a couple things. One is with the injury itself. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
like for example, T.J. Watt. He had that hand injury, but a lot of that is you can play through the pain and
Mm-hmm.
still be. He intercepted a ball, a week or two after he injured his hand. The problem with the hamstring injury, it's not a matter of tolerating pain.
Right.
The muscle just won't work. He can't
Yeah.
get any power. And if J Rock's had a hamstring injury, as you know, you go to drive off of that leg and you fall to a knee. You just go right to your knee. And it's not painful. It's just physically your muscle isn't working properly. And so that's why probably he technically could have been on injured reserve. He's missed enough games where he could have been.
Yeah.
I think that they were hoping to have him in earlier, but what I'm hoping is that they're being prudent about it to make sure, because the other thing with those injuries is that and maybe J Rock experienced this, you'll feel like you're 100%. You'll feel 100%. You'll run some sprints, you'll do some stuff, and then
Mm-hmm.
all of a sudden you go into a
I,
game, and then you go to launch, and then you're starting all over again.
huh?
The hamstrings are they're a frustrating injury.
Yeah.
I'll put it that way. Now, the other thing I wanted to say is that Minka, not only is he a great player on the field, but I think that he's demonstrated that he's one of the leaders in that locker room. And
Mm-hmm.
that's another thing. And at the games, that you've gone to and that I've been to, few weeks ago, I saw them as they were doing their dynamic stretches where everybody's lined up along the field and they start to go. Well, then Minka's like running down, slapping five, right down the five. He's in among everybody. And we talked about Deontay. There was the thing about uh, uh, Deontay and Minka having words a couple weeks ago.
Mhm.
Well, when Deontay had that big catch for like 39 yards,
Minka
who
was
was
right
the
there.
guy running down the sideline cheering him on? It was Minka.
Mhm.
You
Yeah,
know, so
and
he
that's I
he's
ain't pay
he's
no mind, no attention because it's nothing.
right.
Like,
And so for
teammate.
me, I mean, I'm anxious for him to get back onto the field too, because I think that he elevates the other players' games.
Absolutely,
And so it's going to
absolutely.
be interesting how they rotate. I think Trenton Thompson has done a great job stepping
Mhm.
in. You got DeMonte Kazee. They have used the three safety look before, but it'll be
Patrick
interesting to
Peterson's
see
been
how
running them
how
all.
how they do it. So
Mhm.
looking forward to it.
Yeah, I do. I'm excited. I mean, I'm always gonna be excited to see him out there. It's just he's just him. Like he's just a different kind of a player. But the defense overall, I think when Mike Tomlin said TJ Watt is the best defensive player on the planet, like he just is. And I don't spend a lot of time talking about TJ Watt, and I in the same sentence I kind of do, but I don't give him his flowers as much because it's just. But I really sat and
On
thought
that
about
too.
it. When you need something, he's just like Mr. Reliable. When you need the milk, like the storms come in. I don't have no milk. I don't have no butter. I don't have no cheese. I don't have no eggs. TJ Watt got it. Like we going to TJ Watt house because he's gonna be able to provide the essential thing that we are missing at the essential moment. And it's like clockwork. And I said it on Sunday. I was like, TJ's about to get a sack. He's about to disrupt this. And it just freaking happens. And I don't know how I don't know how you plan it. I don't know if it can be planned. It just happens. And it's like perfect timing. He's like so reliable when you need it at the right time, like on cue. On cue. It's impeccable. Like I don't know how you don't get excited about it. And I don't
Yeah.
know how
Well,
like
I think it's a clutch factor too. I mean, a lot of times you just know when to be at that praise. Like if you've been playing a certain way all game, and the offensive lineman has been playing you, or I play receiver. So if as a DB was playing me a certain type of way, or I seen that they've been playing a certain coverage or whatever all game. Okay, cool. Like bet we're down this many points. I know if you ran this, you're gonna get open. I mean, that's kind of like what Minka called in the Green Bay game. He's saying what they was about to run, knowing that they had been kind of getting beat in between when it comes to them playing like man coverage and stuff like that, and to go up to Austin like that and kind of like call it out because he's seen it to change the play up. I think that was, like you said, another testament to his greatness, you know what I'm saying, and what he does on the field, why he's a Pro Bowl,
genius.
thought every year.
Master of the minds, man.
Yeah.
Look, I
I'm sorry.
love
I thought
watching
you were going to
college.
say something.
Did you want
yeah,
to add anything?
you know what I wanted to mention though, the one thing that worries me a little bit, well, not worries, that's the wrong word, but he's playing so much now. He's
Yeah,
playing, well over 90% of the
Yeah.
snaps. And then what it's doing is it's taking away from Nick Herbig being
Yeah.
able to get in there, because
Marcus Golden.
Highsmith is playing a lot too, who I think is playing great. He's not getting the numbers, but he's
He's getting the
drawing
pressures.
attention. He's getting pressure on there.
Mhm.
And Marcus Golden, they're not
Mhm.
getting on the field. But then that sack that Nick Herbig had when he
Oh
Mhm.
was
my,
actually in coverage,
yeah. He's like,
and then it
man,
was
let me
like
go
he
get
was
this.
like out of, like a rocket, and
Mhm.
got that sack. That
He
was
said,
nice to
man, y'all
see.
playing. Let me go get this sack.
Yeah,
I'll be right back.
All right.
I love that. I do want to talk about this week's matchup against the Cardinals. Kyler Murray, James Conner, who we know very well, will be coming to town on Sunday. Do you guys have any feelings, predictions? Of course, people are going to say this is an easy win for the Steelers, but we all know what it's like to root for the Steelers, to watch the Steelers, to have someone come in there that you're supposed to be, and how things can go. And again, we haven't blown anybody out. We did great numbers as far as yards last week. still only put up 16 points. We got to bring our average up. Hopefully, we can do that this week. So, what are you guys thinking going into this matchup?
Definitely think the game is going to be won in the trenches. I
Mm-hmm.
definitely think this is going to be a game where the run needs to be for us. It needs to be a constant, and it needs to be inconstant for them or inconsistent for them. We cannot let James Conner get going. He's proven to be a solid enough back to get good numbers. I think he's done a very good job of producing since he's been in Arizona, which is why he still has the starting job. Um, and the fact that if he gets going, it'll just open up everything else for Kyler Murray. And I think the thing about that is once you control that line of scrimmage and show that he is not a factor, you'll of course, make the team one dimensional. Is pretty much what you try to do defensively. And I think that, like I said, the pressure and shutting down the line of scrimmage defensively for the Pittsburgh Steelers will be essential for them to win because
Mm-hmm.
it will force Kyler Murray to always make those throws, to always be, perfect. And I think that like I said, we have been doing very good with turnovers, getting the pressures, getting the sacks, getting the fumbles, and making a good run for that, and using that as our catalyst, even though we may give up 200-300 yards a game, in yardage. But I mean, like I said, it's a clutch thing, So, like I said, the game to me will be won in the trenches. With that, controlling the run, like I said, with Najee and Jalen. Together, they're combined, I think, over 1,100 yards, if I'm not mistaken. And James Conner is, I think he has only 400 something, if I'm not mistaken. So I mean,
Yeah, but he
he's
was out for a few games.
Mm-hmm.
absolutely, and I mean, like I said, so Kyler Murray been out almost a good chunk of the season. So I mean, like I said, just to say that like even though I said that his numbers weren't as much as Jalen Warren and Najee Harris, that just speaks to his production because Kyler Murray is the same thing and he averages almost 240 yards a week.
Mm-hmm.
So and it's only been 3 weeks. He already has almost 720 yards, 730 yards.
Uh,
So he's been
Yeah,
producing. I mean,
yeah,
when he gets in the game, and I mean, like I said, once he gets going, it's a wrap. I mean, he's fast, and he got a good arm, and he has Marquise Brown. So
mhm. Yeah, we'll see. We gotta contain him. So hopefully get some sacks on him. Go ahead, Dave.
yeah. For me, this game, to me, the wild cards are Kyler Murray and because James Conner's coming home. I mean, for
Mm-hmm.
him, he wants to put on a show,
Yeah.
and 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 it's going to depend on the trenches because in order to stop James downhill runner, well, we need to have the tacklers get in there and to avoid the blocks, shed the blocks, tackle the runner. With Kyler Murray, now from what I understand, I was reading an article earlier today. I guess what they're doing, they've been working on his footwork, trying to get him more consistent. Well,
Mm.
just like in golf, you start adjusting your swing. Well, you can have good results, you can have
mhm,
Yeah.
bad
Up
results,
your
and
shot.
mhm,
and so his
mhm,
consistency may be into question. And here's the thing: is don't let him get his footwork done.
Yeah.
Pressure him. And
And the
again, I mean,
Steelers.
J Rock's talking about the trenches. Are they going to be able to stop T.J. Watt, Alex Highsmith, and Cam Hayward coming up through the middle and to put pressure on this guy? But not only do you have to have pressure, the defense where they've had some problems in the past is containing the back door.
mhm,
So because we're so aggressive, we have a very aggressive defense. Well, the weakness in a very aggressive defense is that you go and then instead of staying home to cover the back door, a runner reverses field and then they got open running room. And then that's what's led to a lot of the explosive plays, a number of the explosive plays that the defense has given up. On the other side of the ball, I think the key is don't give the ball away. And I know, and it could be frustrating because um, we want Kenny Pickett to be kind of stretching the field,
Mhm.
but then the more you do that, well, now you're kind of opening yourself where, hey, if you let go of a ball, kind of like the interception that Trent Thompson had. Quarterback let go of the ball, and he wished he hadn't have passed it because he was able just to reach up
Uh-huh.
and grab it out of there.
Hmm.
But if we can avoid any turnovers and get a couple of takeaways ourselves, well, then that should put us in good stead as long as we bottle up Kyler Murray and James Conner. And I think that the Cardinals have been in a lot of the games that they've played. They've
Yeah,
lost a lot, but it's not
without
as if
Kyler. Right.
they're getting blown out every single game. And Josh Dobbs was playing in a lot of those games. And so you can't afford to take these guys lightly, and
Mm-mm.
they just got to put the pedal to the metal and gain a lead and keep it, and then ball control.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't disagree. Again, I would say this before time of possession is a thing, and it's become a thing again. It wasn't before, but time of possession is going to be critical here, making sure the Steelers hold on to the ball. We know Kenny Pickett hasn't been turning the ball over. Got to keep that. Running the ball has been working really, really well. Got to keep that going too. And there is a little bit of tape on the Pittsburgh Steelers. So yes, they will be looking for a Pat Fryermuth. They'll be looking for the some of the things that they saw last week from the Steelers. So we have a little bit of film, but they still have an advantage because it's not a whole lot of film. So they still have some things to their advantage, and I'm happy that we have this offense that's a little bit unpredictable because everybody kind of knows what everyone's been doing all season. But of course, it's not going to take too much to figure out when we go the next. We don't have Baltimore's our last divisional game at the end of the season, but as we go to Indy and who's also playing good football right now, we go to Seattle and who's actually playing now. I don't know what they're doing, but we're about to go catch them.
They just took the lead 21-20.
Oh
And
yeah,
it's
we're
right
about to
right
go
before
watch
right before halftime.
this in a minute. Okay.
And
But like as we get ready for these teams that are making playoffs push, we're gonna have a new identity and people are gonna try to or gonna think that they have us figured out. But holding on to the ball, like you said, Dave, time of possession and getting in the end zone. That, like, yes, we have Chris Boswell, love him, Mr. Reliable, but we gotta get those 6 points. We gotta get the 7. We have to do that, and to be able to find ourselves sustainable. I know everybody was happy, but even when I think there was something I heard I don't know who said it. Maybe it was Najee, but like you can't. We're not going to be able to sustain with 16-point wins. I get that we're winning; it's great, but we need to be able to get over the 21 game point game, um, and Hill or whatever I was trying to say. Sorry, it's that kind of week. But I do want to thank you guys for joining me tonight. And I didn't even realize that there was Thursday night football going on as I wanted to do this. So I apologize. I know people are probably like, I ain't
okay.
watching this. The game is on. So I will. I do want to thank y'all for joining and thank everybody in the chat. Ali, Suge Knight, everybody. Shaggy came through. Tevin came through. Jared Devil, TJ. Who else? Oh my gosh. I see people's faces and I'm drawing a blank at y'all real names. I'm sorry. Jeremy, CT, and JT joined. Oh my gosh, I'm looking right at his name. Touring the AFC South. I know your name, but I'm drawing a blank. I'm sorry, but thank you for joining us. Did you tell everybody where they can find you guys online, J Rock and Dave, and we'll wrap this thing on up tonight.
All right, and we're all three in Maryland, right?
Yes, sir.
I saw Morgan State
Yes,
jersey.
sir.
I'm
We got a
excited.
we got a base.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm Dave Orchena. I'm at Subburger, which is SUBBURGHER
Mhm.
on Twitter. So or X, I guess you're calling it now.
Yeah.
Also a contributor to Steelers Depot. People think that I work for Steelers Depot low key. Like it's so
Awesome.
funny.
Yeah, no, I do. My articles on Steelers Depot are the perspective of an average Steelers fan.
Mhm.
I don't watch all the film. I'm not like Alex Kazor and Dave Bryan and Josh Karn and all the contributors at Steelers Deep. I mean, they watch a tremendous amount of film.
Uh-huh.
Most of my articles are reactions to the games, a little bit about the history. I do my top 500 Steelers of all time that I update every year. So, but I really appreciate you having me on, and hopefully we all have a great set of holidays.
Yes, you too.
Absolutely. And you could follow me on IG at J Rock, like my name on the screen. The THE Polymath, POLYMATH. You can follow me on there. And like I said, I do a few other things on there, but you just look me up. And like I said, like Dave was saying, I am not I don't have access to all of the footage. I would love to see all 22 every week of the field and the plays and everything, and to be able to break things down, because I kind of get a rush from that. To be
Yeah.
honest, I like to see that poetry in slow motion sometimes. So it's definitely a privilege, and I appreciate you for having me on it, D.
Yeah.
Hopefully, maybe next week. I mean, if you free, I don't know if you want to do a live while we playing the game, while we play the Patriots.
I'll be at
But
that game.
you'll be at
So
the game. Okay.
yeah, I'm
Okay.
scheduled to be. So far,
Okay.
I should be there. So I'll be at that game. But I will try to sneak in a lot, do one of these in between Sunday and Thursday's game. So we'll definitely do this. Maybe Tuesday. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't
Tuesday
know.
would work
Yeah.
for me.
That's perfect. That'll work.
It's gonna be tight.
That'll work.
But I'm gonna try to squeeze in another one of these. So I just want to thank y'all. Thank y'all so much. I'm trying to keep it within an hour or so, just because it's a live and we have people asking questions and comments. But
Right.
I appreciate y'all. Have a wonderful weekend and go
Go
Steelers.
Steelers.
All right, Dee. See you next
Thanks
week.
everybody. See you.
So yeah.